Hey everyone, this is Barry Jones and this is my wife Angie.
Hi.
And we're coming to you again to talk a little bit about marriage. And what we have is a lot of people will come to us and ask us about our vacations. We'll post them on Facebook, places that we've been, and people will come to us with questions about how we did it, why on earth we did it that way. And so what we thought we would do is do several videos in a row, because we tried to keep the videos short, and talk about how we do vacations.
We camp, so they're not
Yeah.
vacations in the very luxurious sense of the word, but they are
Right.
away from home. But camping is, camping wasn't my
Not her
idea.
first love.
Yeah, it wasn't my first love, but now it is. I really enjoy it now.
Yeah. And so we're not talking about the kinds of vacations where you go and sit on a beach sipping drinks with little wedges of pineapple in it while everybody kind of goes in their separate directions. We're talking about a kind of vacation where everybody works together and everybody is with each other, okay? So before we dive into that, I need to kind of clarify a few things. First of all, my job is very understanding when it comes to vacations. Angie is a stay-at-home mom. We homeschool our children because we're freaks and we want them to be too. And also, we have two children, both girls, who are close in age. And all of those things make what we do easier.
Yeah, right off the bat, we have an easier start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got one child that's 17 and another one that's 2, that's going to make it more difficult. If both of you have jobs, that's going to make it more difficult. So we understand that, but we still think that with each of these videos, there are still some things, even if you just go on a regular vacation, there's some things that you can take from this that will
Sure.
be beneficial to you.
Just some things to remember.
Yeah. So, so what we're going to talk about today. So part 1 is how to start. And we talk to people and they are, I don't know how to describe it. We tell them what we're going to do. Like the first trip, we said, yes, we're going to the Grand Canyon. And they said, oh, that sounds nice. And we said, and we're going to tent camp all the way there. And they went, oh. Like I had just told them I needed chemotherapy.
I was a little worried about it too.
Yeah.
Because
Well, we
tent
both were.
camping and snakes
And vermin.
Yeah, in
And we're not just talking
Arizona
about the
and stuff.
kids. And so we're going to kind of talk about how we came into that, okay? So here's how to start. First of all, know the reason for doing this, and it's because time is short.
Yeah.
You hear over and over again, your kids are born, you blink, and then they're gone. There's some days we wish it was a little bit faster, but for the most part, we see that. We see them just growing up.
Right. There's
So
an app
quickly.
that I have that tells me how many weeks I have left until they graduate and kind of launch. And that is, what would you call that?
Depressing?
Yeah, it's a little, well, it's just it's a reality check for me that I although the days seem long, the years are short and our time with them is short.
Yeah, very much so. So know that your time with them is short, okay? We also suggest that you start small. Start small. If you're going to do the camping thing, if you're going to do something that's not your typical vacation, start small and do something that you can handle. What we did was, when we first started doing this, we would go for 1, maybe 2 days. The
Yeah.
girls were really small. They were
Claire
still
was less than 3 years old.
Yeah, she was still taking naps. And so we went to Jordan Lake and would stay there for 2-3 days at the most, and then
Just
come back
a
home.
local state park that's not more than an hour and a half away or so.
Right. And so just to see if we could do it.
Yeah.
Just to see if I could get the girls to actually enjoy camping.
Oh, they loved it right
And
away.
they loved it right away. Probably because I introduced them early. So if you can start early, if you are interested in camping and you do want to do it, you really want to consider starting as early as you can. But we started just very, very early. And I do want to add this, and this kind of goes against what I just said in my first point. It is true that time is short, but another thing everybody tells us is that, oh, well, my kids, they're too old and I haven't started. It's not just about the kids. Angie and I have memories, that we share, just us.
Sunset at the Grand Canyon. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it was my wish to go to the Grand Canyon. Nobody else had this huge desire, so it was my wish to do that, and we made it happen all together. But
right, and so it's it's just I don't know. It's not just about the kids. It's okay for you and your spouse to have memories to share and share. So if your kids have moved out and you want to do this, I think you should.
And sometimes we think, oh, my kids aren't going to remember this, so why do it? And that's I think that's kind of a poor excuse. And here's two reasons why. Two reasons why is the first one is they may not remember it, but you will be instilling in them a sense of adventure and a sense of just a larger worldview, more experiences that they can take lots of different places. And the other thing is, it's not just about their memories. I want memories of when they were young and we did things together. And I want memories of the two of us or the four of us hiking different places. So it's not just about them.
Right. And another thing, this is another point. Another thing that you will be teaching them, and there's, as we go through the series, we'll be talking about things that you'll actually be teaching your kids, whether you want to or not. As you do this,
Hopefully good lessons.
Hopefully good things, and not how to bury a body. But the big thing is to, I just spring them right on her. But anyway, the other thing is that you want to give all members of the family responsibilities. And again, the earlier you can start that, the better. You give them all responsibilities, and you give them all a task. And depending on their age, the task, of course, will be very small, or as they get older, it'll get larger. But give them something to do. Make them a part of the team.
Right. So we would stop and start, prepping the tent camping area. They would look for twigs, or they would help with setting up the tent, or they would help with unrolling the sleeping bags. And of course, at dinner times. And, all this stuff is just all part of the process, and it teaches them so many good skills. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be huge. I like the twigs thing. You're going to start a fire. All right, sweetheart, go out and go find Daddy some twigs, and they'll come back and they'll bring back one twig. And they'll go, did I do good? And you're like,
yes.
No, go get more. And so and you should punish them when they do it wrong. But I'm kidding. So she sighs a lot, doesn't she?
Deep breaths.
So give responsibilities early. And the last thing is this: be prepared for epic successes and epic failures.
Oh man.
This is going to be so incredibly important.
Yeah.
I think Angie and I first started trying to cultivate this mentality when we were actually traveling. We had the girls, but they stayed home, and we traveled alone, and we went to Ireland. And I love castles because I'm a nerd. And so we would look on the map or find out about a castle, and we would just go see if we could find it. And sometimes it would be on private property, and so, oh well, you can't see it. And then other times we'd find this thing that had, like this hidden gem that nobody knew about. And it was just this idea of every day is kind of an adventure. And it's kind of like treasure hunters. Sometimes you're going to dig in a spot and not find anything, and then sometimes you are. So you have to approach these vacations as there's going to be times where you're going to have these incredible successes, these hidden gems that, are just amazing.
We have so many great memories about the hidden things, not
Yes.
the big things necessarily.
Not the big things.
I mean, Yellowstone, Grand Canyon, obviously awesome, but sometimes it was the little things, breakfast in Philly, or the lava tube caves that we got to go through, and I mean, just things that we kind of fell upon. They weren't necessarily on the list. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Our epic successes have been things that we didn't necessarily plan. So try not to overplan.
Yeah.
And have some room for wiggle.
Right, and I'm trying not to talk about things that we're going to talk about the other videos, but there's a mentality that you want to have that's let's just stop and see, and that's when you really find a lot of cool things. So that's part one. There's going to be 2 more parts, and we hope that you will check those out as well. Like I said, I think there's something in them for everybody. Please like, please subscribe, and guys, thank you so much, and have a great week.
Bye.